Everyone is doing good. This is Pratishtha, your IELTS trainer, and in this session, we are going to be focusing on advanced listening skills. So we are going to take a look at how we can do at least task 3 and task 4, which are the advanced task here. And I would really say that with the IELTS, advanced tasks are super important. It's super important to practice what these tasks contain, and there is super like it's again extremely important to make sure that you know some strategies, you have some strategies in your mind. So with that being said, I'll be sharing my screen and we'll be taking a look at what we're supposed to do. So in this session, we will review advanced strategies for improving a listening comprehension. We'll focus on specific activity type and techniques. We'll practice listening, of course, and we will develop note-taking habit. So again, we have already discussed what kind of questions come. It is multiple choice, sentence completion, matching, map or planning or labeling kind of questions. Then I would suggest first to read the question whenever they give you time, right? Read the question in that time. Listen for keywords, right? So it's extremely important to listen to keywords. Eliminate any wrong answers if it's there, right? And always double check, what you have done, what you have written. For sentence completion, the simple strategy is to predict, right? And if you think that, you did not get what the answer is, I would suggest go with the prediction method. Look at things, at a whole. Listen for specific details. Check the grammar that's there and follow the word limit, right? So it's super important to follow word limit. Make sure you're following that. The map or labeling kind of questions, I would suggest to study that, the diagram or the map that is there. Listen for directions because in the map, there are directions as well. So make sure you know this particular place that you are here, it would be marked, and then you need to, it's one of the toughest kinds, right? So make sure that you have understood the map properly. Try to remember, try to make a picture in your mind, and then try to follow exactly how they are speaking, right? Mark the answers side by side and stay extremely focused. These map-related questions are one of the toughest ones, and you need to be extremely focused for this. I mean, we can just practice these listening comprehension strategies. So for this, I would like to share my screen on, where we are when it comes to the listening part. So I'll share my screen to the IELTS listening here. Just give me a moment. I think I'll have to share my entire screen for this one. So share entire screen, share computer sound. These kind of questions. So let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and do this map related question as well. So this is which test? Test 2. Okay, let's do test 2.
Test 2. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.
The main audio.
There is an example that has been done for you.
Give me your name, please.
Yes, it's...
Yeah, it we'll start from here.
Good morning, Total Insurance. Judy speaking. How may I help you?
I recently shipped my belongings from overseas back here to Australia, and I took out insurance with your company. Some items were damaged during the move, so I need to make a claim. What do I have to do?
Okay, well, first I need to get a few details about this. Can you give me your name, please?
Yes, it's Michael Alexander.
Okay, and your address, please?
My old address or my current one?
Your current one.
It's 24 Manly Street, Milperra, near Sydney.
What was the suburb, sorry?
Milperra, Milperra.
Right. Now, who was the shipping agent, Mr. Alexander?
You mean the company we used?
Yes, the company who packed everything up at the point of origin.
Oh, it was, First Class Movers.
Okay. Where were the goods shipped from?
China, but the ship came via Singapore and was there for about a week.
Don't worry, all of that information will be in the documentation. Now, the dates. Do you know when the ship arrived?
It left on the 11th of October and got to Sydney on the 28th of November.
Okay. I need one more thing. There's a reference number. It should be in the top right-hand corner of the pink form they gave you.
Let me have a look. I have so many papers. Yes, here it is. It's 601 ACK.
Thanks.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 4 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 4 to 10.
I need to take down a few details of the actual damage over the phone before you put in a full report. Can you tell me how many items were damaged and what the damage was?
Yes, well, 4 things actually. I'll start with the big things. My TV, first of all. It's a large one, very expensive.
Insurance doesn't cover electrical problems.
It isn't an electrical problem. The screen has a huge crack in it, so it's unusable.
I see. Any idea of the price to repair it?
No. Well, I don't think it can be repaired. It will need a new one.
Okay, I'll make a note of that and we'll see what we can do. Now, what was the second item?
The cabinet from the bathroom was damaged as well. It's a lovely cabinet. We use it to keep our towels in.
And what is the extent of the damage?
Well, the back and the sides seem okay, but the door has a huge hole in it. It can't be repaired. I'm really not very happy about it.
And how much do you think it will cost to replace it?
Well, when I bought it last year, I paid $125 for it. But the one I've seen here in Sydney is a bit more expensive. It's $140.
Right. And what was the third item?
My dining room table. It's a lovely table from Indonesia. It must have been very hot inside the container because one leg has completely split down the middle. The top and the other 3 look okay, thank goodness.
Any idea of the price to repair it?
Well, I had an estimate done on this actually because it is a very special table to us. They quoted us $200, which is really pricey, so I hope the insurance will cover the total cost.
I'm sure that will be fine. What was the last item, Mr. Alexander?
Well, we have a lovely set of china plates and dishes, you know, with matching cups, saucers, the lot. They were all in the one box, which must have got dropped because some plates were broken. 6, actually.
And can you tell me the replacement value of these?
Well, it's hard to say because they were part of a set, but they can be up to $10 each, as it's such a good set.
Okay, so that would be around $60 altogether.
Yes, that's right.
And is that all of the items?
Yes. So, what do I have to do now?
Okay, so the first part is done, which is generally the...
That is the end of section 1.
Now is
You now have half a minute to check your...
So again, for this one, you need to mark and see it's north, west, east, and south. The person is going to definitely tell you the directions in this way, right? So this is the west side. I can just write it here. This is the north, this is the east, and this is the south, right? So now you can take a look at reception block. We are here. This is experimental crop area, lake, right? These are some kind of area near the marsh and near grazing field, right? So now let's listen to audio 2.
Section 2. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Welcome to Greenvale Agricultural Park. As you know, we've only been open a week, so you're amongst our first visitors. We have lots of fascinating indoor and outdoor exhibits on our huge complex, spreading hundreds of hectares. Our remit is to give educational opportunities to the wider public, as well as to offer research sites for a wide variety of agriculturists and other scientists. Let's start by seeing what there is to do. As you can see here on our giant wall plan, we are now situated in the reception block here. As you walk out of the main door into the park, there's a path you can follow. If you follow this route, you'll immediately come into the rare breeds section, where we keep a wide variety of animals, which I shall be telling you a little more about later. Next to this, moving east, is the large grazing area for the rare breeds. Then further east, in the largest section of our park, is the forest area. South of the grazing area, and in fact just next to the reception block, is our experimental crop area. In the middle of the park, this circular area, is our lake. These two small rectangular shapes here are the fish farms where we rear fish for sale. To the east of those is the marsh area, which attracts a great many migrant birds. In the southeastern corner, beyond the marsh, is our market garden area, growing vegetables and flowers.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
Main purpose of this audio was only the map, but let's just complete all the questions, right?
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
All these areas can be visited by the general public for almost all the year. Although, please take note of the large signs at the entrance to each area, which tell you when certain areas are being used for particular controlled experiments and are therefore temporarily out of bounds to the public. You can see for yourself what a huge area the park covers, and a key question is always, how can we move around? Well, you have a choice of means, all environmentally friendly. Cars are banned in the park. We have bicycles, which you can hire behind the reception block here. The healthy ones of you can go on foot. And finally, there's our electric tram, powered from solar cells. You find more information about this at the front entrance. A good place to start on your tour is the rare breed section. We keep goats, sheep and hens and other kinds of poultry. We're also thinking of bringing in cows and horses, but we do not as yet have facilities for these bigger animals. The animals are fed in public twice a day, and a short lecture given on their feeding habits and nutritional needs. These are very popular with the public, but of course we mustn't lose sight of the main purpose of having this section, not as such to preserve rare animals, but to maintain the diversity of breeds, to broaden the gene pool for agricultural development. Greenvale changes with the seasons, with different events happening at different times of the year. May will be perhaps our most spectacular month, with the arrival of the Canada geese, and when our fruit trees will be in full blossom. But there are interesting events on all year round. For example, John Havers, our expert fly fisherman, is currently giving displays on the lake. Each of the sections has its own seasonal calendar, and please consult the summary board at the main entrance. And the final section, as we return to the reception blocks, is the orchard. Do take time to browse round our shop. There's a wide selection of books on wildlife, some of them written by local authors, and the history of farming, including organic farming, something which the park will be diversifying into in the coming months.
That is the end of section.
And I would suggest that's pretty much it, right, for the audio, especially the map, which I really wanted to cover in this presentation for today. Again, maps are mostly about practice, right? Maps require a lot of practice, so I would suggest practicing when it comes to maps. Again, some note-taking strategies here would be to abbreviate, right? So make sure you're abbreviating all the stuff. It is like to make it short, right? So for example, for north, we write north, south, we write south, west, we write west, east, W, and east, we write E. So this is abbreviation, something that's personal to you. It does not have to follow a universal pattern or anything. It is pretty personal, right? Focus on keywords. Make sure you're focusing on the keywords. Make sure you're organizing by sections, right? Divide your notes by sections of listening text. So section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4. So don't mix everything up, right? And after the audio, I mean, in this video, we have not really given any time, but there is usually 1 minute to transfer your paper. This is the time where you can go back to the questions that you did not probably mark, and you can just go ahead and mark them, at least predict something, right? Give your best guess. Common mistakes, I think we have all discussed it. Not following instructions. Make sure you have read the question properly. Make sure you know how many words you can fill in the blank, right? Make sure you're not panicking for any missing information, anything that you have forgotten, because again, you will have time now nothing can be done about it. So just move forward. Do not write too slowly. Practice writing fast with the speed of the audio, right? And do not start guessing early, because if you see, I have also guessed early many times, especially in that question where it was talking about when is the main parts closed, right? So listen a little bit more. Once he completes that section and moves to the next question, then mark the answer. That's pretty much it. What we did was we learned some advanced strategies for IELTS, especially we focused on maps. We discussed some techniques, right? And we practiced listening. Again, as for your homework, I would really suggest listening to these map-based questions. Practice writing keywords and taking notes when the audio is moving, right? So it's a little speedy. I would really suggest you to practice all of this. And that should be pretty much it. If you have any other kind of questions, or if you need more strategies, something else you want to discuss, definitely try to take a feedback from others, or you can always put a comment, or you can always reach out for any kind of doubts or clarifications. I'll see you in the next section.